Okay, so now methods. So we wrote a method and now we'll check the syntax of that method. So this is how a method is written. First of all, access modifier, then return type of the method, then name of the method. And here we'll give the input parameters to this method. So first of all, there are different access modifiers: public, private, protected, and default. Default means if you don't give any modifier here, by default it's default. So what does these access modifier means? So public stands for this class, this method can be used anywhere inside a project. First of all, let's discuss the modifier for a class. If a class is public, it can be accessed anywhere inside this project. Suppose here we have only one package. If we are having multiple packages, then this class can be accessed anywhere. And next thing is default. Default means this class can be accessed anywhere inside this package only, com.javabasics.android. Inside this package only, this class can be accessed anywhere. And only two modifiers that can be applied with a class are public and default. And after that, for methods we have private also. If a method is private, then this can be accessed within this class only. It cannot be accessed anywhere. And there's one more, protected, and we'll discuss this modifier when we'll study OOPS concepts in inheritance. Okay. In this class, we gave the value at the time when we made this variable, when we created this variable. So we can give this value at runtime also later on. So let's see how to do that. We'll achieve this using constructors. So let's create a new class. So how to create a constructor? Constructor will always take the same name as that of the class. So in this case, our class name is constructor demo, so we'll just give the same name followed by parenthesis and this. Notice the difference between a constructor and a method. A constructor never ever has a return type, and a constructor always have a name same as that of the class. So by default, even if we don't create any constructor, Java will automatically give us a default constructor. Default constructor means constructor with no parameters. So you would have noticed in last edition we created this object. So whenever an object is created, a constructor of a class is called. So you must have wondering, we didn't create any constructor default C. This is default constructor. This will call a default constructor. Why this get called? Because Java internally created a default constructor for us. So now we'll create parameterized constructors and see how we can initialize values. So create a parameterized constructor. Let's give two parameters, int n1, int n2. Okay, let's create two variables, int n1 comma n2. Okay, so how to give these variables values? So we'll use this operator, this dot n1 equals n2. I'll explain the complete functionality. This dot n2 equals n2. We can create a method, void show values. Here we can simply print those values. n1 is plus n1, okay. So now let's call this constructor. To call this constructor, simply we'll have to make object of this class. So let's create that. So we have created two parameterized constructors, so you can see it popped up here, and now we'll give it two values, 10, 20. Just give it two values. Okay, and now to print these values we have written the code here, so we'll call this method using this cdemo dot show values. Okay, now let's run this program. See, we give these values. Okay, oops, I need to rectify this. Okay, here I gave n2 n2, here we need to give n1. Run this again. See, n1 is 10 and n2 is 20. We give these two values 10 and 20 here, we pass these values to this constructor. And now how this is working, so if this is a inbuilt keyword used in Java, this refers to the current class. So in this case our current class is constructor demo. So there are instance variables and local variables in Java. Instance variables means, like here int n1 n2 are instance variables. Local variables are means the variables which are local to a method or a constructor. See, in this case constructor we have defined n1 and n2. These are local variables to these constructors, and these two are instance variables as these are defined on class level. So how to assign values to these variables? So this dot n1, this means this dot n1 signifies this n1 variable, and this dot n2 means this variable of this class, n2 variable of constructor demo class. So this dot n2 specifies n2 variable, and when we'll be calling this constructor, see, new constructor demo 10, 20. So in turn this will call this constructor, and these two values will go to n1 and n2. 10 will go to n1 and 20 will go to n2, and as n1 is 10, so this value will go to this dot n1. So this dot n1 or n1 will be equal to 10, and this dot n2 equal to 20 means n2 will be 20. And since these are initialized, now we can use a method to print out those values. We can use system.out.println as this command is used to print in console. So n1 is n1, see this n1 variable, and n2. So it will print the message n1 is 10 and n2 is 20. This is how to initialize values using constructors.